Hey everyone, it's Justin. Welcome again to another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We are over 355 episodes. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening, if you're in the United States or in any country, territory, province across the world. Uh, we ask if you can give us a thumbs up, if you can smash that subscribe button, like, follow, share, leave us comments, reach out if you'd like to be on the show. And uh, we are just grateful to have you with us on another episode here. And what we're going to do is speak a little bit about how imagination plays a role in our lives, our children's lives, children, whether they're ours, whether we have nieces, nephews. Uh, Imagination plays a big role in children, and I think not just children. I think children are who we we look at and look to uh, for most of imagination. Uh, as life goes on, there tends to be less and less things that we're able to open up our imagination, dream about for one reason or another, that we think a door is closed when uh, maybe we just need to walk up to that door and see if it's open. And with children, I mean, you know that real that real innocence of each and every day learning uh, something new, how the world works, how their mind works, how physically, whether they're jogging or running or uh, shooting a basketball, playing catch, uh, so many different ways to use our imagination. Uh, and one we haven't touched on is that mental imagination, um, and how the younger we are, the more we're able to have a belief in imagination. The world is a big place and we can do what we put our mind to. Um, oh, before we go on, I did get a little haircut. So yeah, if you're watching, I I did get a little bit of a trim. So uh, just wanted to call that out. It's not any studio effect. And so moving on, uh, when we're thinking about that word imagination, and and I kind of put that together with dreaming in a way because to dream is to really think about some things that we want to do, that we've seen others do. We've talked to others. We've uh, seen a play, a show, talk with our families about, and so they're very, to me, they're closely linked together. Uh, because in order to dream, you have to have that imagination that you can do it, that you can get there, uh, whatever it takes. Uh, because we know things aren't easy. And so as we find ourselves uh, growing up and being more self-sufficient and learning and testing and hypothesizing, that whole scientific method, uh, it is the imagination that really helps us continue to have that drive, that ambition to wanna do something maybe that nobody in our family has done, whether that's attain a certain degree, whether that is playing a sport, whether that is uh, becoming an actor, an actress, uh, a professional sport player, whatever that may be, an astronaut. That was my dream, and my imagination at a young age thought that that was like the coolest thing to be able to do that. I still think it's a cool thing, but I do have a lot of claustrophobia, I guess now, and so there's not quite a lot of room in these space vehicles, and to uh, yeah, I just have different different thoughts on that. On the one hand, I'd love to do it. On the other, thinking about that claustrophobic, uh, and then my anxiety coming in the play. Uh, but with children, uh, with with people that still have that hungry spirit, that mind, to be a veterinarian, to help animals, to be a doctor, a nurse, uh, somebody who draws blood to get tested. Uh, so many different things we can do. And so first and foremost, we're never too late to dream. We're never too late to imagine. Uh, there may be some older, not older, some extra barriers depending on our age, depending on if there's, a financial barrier. Uh, for instance, uh, some of these in the United States and even across the world, there's restaurants and some of them are franchises. And so, in order to purchase a franchise or buy into a franchise, like a McDonald's, like a Chick-fil-A, and the list goes on and on, uh, you have to have a certain amount of money, saved before you can go forward and start looking at locations. Uh, Not to mention, it's not an 8 to 5, 40 hour a week job. It's really a big undertaking to do that. Uh, and so maybe that's one of I mean, that's a dream, to imagine one time you or I to have that ability to have the opportunity to have a franchise of a particular restaurant chain. Uh, and so again, we may still have that dream, that imagination, but maybe we don't have the required money uh, needed available to do that. And so we just continue on until uh, we get to the point where we do have the money, uh, or another dream, another idea has been imagined and dreamed for us. So I'm doing a lot of talking, and some of it might not be making a lot of sense, but now I think getting into why I wanted to do this particular show. So regardless if you practice a religion or not, uh, you have holiday or not, uh, I'm going on my experiences, so uh, we're all in this together. This isn't something that it's only me and it's only for certain believers. Uh, so with children, there's that imagination. The brain's still forming, and forms from the back to the front. So rationalizing and reasoning is the frontal lobe of our brains, and that is not fully developed until sometime in our 20s, years of age. And so that makes a little bit of sense of, as we're growing up, that we may not have the best understanding of, uh well, we have the understanding of consequences, uh but we just have less things to worry about. uh More than likely, growing up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, we don't have a mortgage, we don't have food that we have to buy, we don't have, if we want to go on a vacation, we don't have student loans, we don't have car payments or leases. Uh, those types of things we we kind of acquire the older we get, and so some of us we celebrate Christmas or another holiday, and there is, for believers like myself, with my higher authority, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Jesus, dying on the cross, carrying his cross, falling, and only to be crucified, and then raised on the third day. And so the meaning of what Christmas. So let's spell it out. Christmas. Christmas. And so if we put that together and then we separate, Christ Mas, Christmas, Christmas means more Christ. Doesn't mean more presents. Doesn't mean more gifts. Doesn't mean, oh, now I'm going to get that brand new car that I always wanted, or private jet, or you name it. Maybe for some of us that's the case, but uh, the older I've gotten and out of kind of the mental health valley for me, started to really try and keep trying to not just focus on myself and what I want, but what others want and need. So give me an example. So there is uh, say it's a fundraiser, so locally here and uh, around the Akron area, Akron Children's Hospital, they have and I'm not endorsing any organization. I'm just giving the facts as they are. And the fundraiser is where individuals, organizations, uh, dental practices, lawyer practices, uh, they'll have a theme. Again, I'm talking about the Christmas aspect. Again, I'm not leaving out if you believe in another higher authority. I'm just giving my example here, uh, and so you can adapt what I am sharing to your story and your family and your beliefs or non-beliefs. And so each year there's this annual Christmas tree show where families, again, dental practices, uh, anybody can uh, put together an idea and decorate a tree, and then there's a number put on the tree of how much it is to purchase that tree. And so these are artificial trees. And some have themes of sporting teams, some have themes of snowmen, of certain types of food, candy, gift cards, gift baskets. Uh, and one year, uh, I was I was teaching college at the local university where I've been teaching for the last 10 years. Hopefully that comes back because I really enjoy doing that, and sharing my knowledge and my mental health experience as Dr. Collins has really instilled trust and strength in me to do that when I'm given that opportunity and those opportunities. So having done that for over 10 years, um, one of the things at the university is the business school, not every year, uh, a lot of years, or sometimes school-wide, there would be an adopt a family. And so a family that uh, has fallen on hard times and not sure if they're going to be able to provide. Again, the Christmas is really about more Christ, not about presents and that. Uh, but this tree festival that happens uh, at the university, sometimes again there's one like a family that they kind of adopt for that year. And so, gift cards and money and donations and and all those get collected and then delivered to the family, and they're able to celebrate and have uh, a better chance at having a more normalized holiday, Christmas, if that's what they're celebrating, like us. And even if it's not, that's okay. You can still have holiday trees and still decorate. And and so one year, my now wife, she and her family, they had a theme. They wanted to do a tree, and it was around school supplies. And so there were on the tree, there were markers, there were glue sticks, there were colored pencils, pens, pencils, paper. There's a ton, and you you can look back through our social media. Uh, it's uh, it's been quite some time. It I do tend to sometimes duplicate posts during different times of the year. So, maybe as we get closer to December 25th, then maybe I'll make a post with that tree, in a protractor, having a ruler, having uh, things related to school. And so what I wanted to do, uh, and so there was a price tag on it, and the money, all the money that's raised goes to the Akron Children's Hospital. And so if you buy the tree or the wreath, uh, then there's a certain day and time that they'd like you to come pick that up. And so what I ended up doing was, given that I was teaching at university, the university had a family that they had picked out for that particular year. And so I ended up donating or purchasing the tree that my now wife and her family put together, that was based around school supplies, and for those parents or anybody that's a guardian watching over a child or at some point throughout out their lifetime. School supplies, while some can be less expensive, they can add up over time. And so I ended up donating the amount of that tree that my wife and her family, um, we weren't engaged at that time, but my now wife. So we were dating, and then we are getting engaged and then married and the like. And so I wanted to basically do, well, three things. What it ended up being. Number one, the money was going to go towards the Akron General Hospital as a donation. That was number one. Number two, the tree wasn't going to be left over at the end, where sometimes there could be trees left over that maybe people weren't interested in as much. And I didn't want that to happen. Uh, so that was two. And then the third part was being able to have that tree delivered to the university so they could then deliver it to the family in need. And so for me, uh, that was something that I don't know. I mean, I guess it was a dream of imagination, of taking one thing and being able to do three different things, of helping people. And and so I was able to do it, and it was the feeling that I got from doing that. I mean, there's really no words to explain that. Uh, as if you obviously understand and know Voices for Voices and what we're intending to do as an organization and helping 3 billion people plus over the course of my lifetime and beyond with the guests, with the topics we delve into. Uh, it probably comes as no surprise that I would be involved, if possible, with something that could be not just one thing. It could turn into not one, not two, but three different ways of utilizing my strengths and when and helping people, uh, as well as having my wife and their family feel good that the tree was going to go to. I wasn't buying it for ourselves. I was buying it for others and donating for others, not just the money aspect, um, but to be able to get that to the family in need. And that was probably one of the best feelings. And it took a little bit of imagination, uh, but the way my mind goes, it didn't really take long for my mind to arrive at, okay, if it's possible, is this something that's even possible? Of, okay, now I have to do the logistics of not have me deliver, not me pick up the tree, but have it delivered to the school, uh, who, who would then transport it to the family's house with the other gift cards and gifts that were collected school-wide. And so as another example of when I talk about, what I'm doing here on Earth, what we're doing, Voices for Voices, and this was long before Voices for Voices. This was just me as a person, and I still was, say, somewhat still in the midst of, my alcohol abuse days. I was not through those days at that time. But I look back at that experience and how, I mean, I still can get, goosebumps talking about it. And it's not to say like, oh, I'm better than anybody else. It's not. What it is I identified a situation and I tried to maximize it and help as many people as I could through one event, one action. And I mean, even to this day, and it's been many years since that occurred, and it's still, again, the hairs on my arms are and the goosebumps are there because it made me feel so good to really get to a point where I was starting to formulate what I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't anywhere close to starting Voices for Voices or hitting rock bottom mental health wise. Uh, but whether it was that, whether it's taking somebody who doesn't have a ticket to a ball game and sit with them for a whole game um, when they're outside the stadium asking for money and donations, and not just have them come with me to the game, uh, but I stayed the whole game with that individual, and that individual told me that he really did appreciate uh, basically me inviting and going up and saying, "Hey, do you have a ticket?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Hey, do you want to go to the game?" He said, "Sure." So we went. And it was, I don't know if it was the fourth or fifth inning, but it was somewhere in the middle of the ball game, of the baseball game. Uh, for those that don't know, there's usually 9 innings in a baseball game in the pros. The World Series is going on now between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto is up 3 games to 2. It's the best out of 7. And so one of the two teams has to win 4 games to win the World Series. And so right now, if the Toronto Blue Jays win the next game, then they'll have won the World Series. If the Los Angeles Dodgers win the next game, then the series will be tied up 3 games to 3 games, and then they'll go to game 7, and whoever wins game 7 will win the World Series. Anyways, getting back to that story. Um, so yeah, it was somewhere around the middle of the ball game, and the individual that again, I never met him, I never knew who he was. I had an extra ticket, and I was like, maybe I can bless somebody and help maybe make their day a little bit brighter. And it was a very cold day, so and it wasn't the weather wasn't that great. So I found an individual. I went up, asked him, and ended up going in. We were watching the game. It's about midway through. I asked if he wanted something to eat, got him something to eat, and it was shortly after that that he was in a wheelchair, and he kind of turned next to me and just said, "Hey, thanks for doing this." And I said, "Oh, you're welcome. I really like it. Just made things better to go to a game with somebody, even though I didn't know who they were, but we got to have conversation and chit chat." And he said after we both ate a little bit at the game that he said no. He said he was really thank you. And I said, "You're welcome. I wanted to do it, and you didn't have a ticket, so I wanted to ask you, and so I did." He goes, "No, not just that, and not the food." He said, "The fact that you stayed with me for the whole game, even just having conversation and about the game, about just random things, just conversation." And he said, he goes, "Other people have over the years, had me come with them into the game, and that," he said, "but all the other times, as soon as we got into the game, so we got through the, the ticket scanners and the security and all that. He said that once they got through the security and the ticket scanner and all that, that the people left. They didn't leave the ball game. They just went and did their own thing. They felt that like, well, they did a good deed and that, and well, they did. Uh, he said, you didn't have you don't have to be, just stand in with me. And I said that's not a problem. Like that was my intention. I wasn't gonna uh, just leave you as we got through the gates, and that part made me feel really good. And yeah, there was a cost of tickets and the and of the food, but that comment there still to this day means so much. That I just I just figured that if other people had invited him into a ball game before, that they do the same thing. They would hang out and talk and cheer for the home team, or if it's an away team, or just being a human. So just because he has some challenges, mobile challenges and moving around, didn't mean he was any less of a person, and he wasn't. And I said, "You're welcome." That's what I wanted to do. Uh, and I said, "And trust me, you're doing as much for me as I'm doing for you, just by having conversation and uh, being at the game." And uh, so there's things over the course of the years that I've done that I'm not a saint. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I'm not. I know darn sure I'm not. And so the reason I'm bringing this up on the on this particular show and getting into imagination and such is when you have those feelings like, wow, that feels really good. What I did. Uh, Again, it doesn't all have to be money related. It can be something small, volunteer at a food kitchen over the holidays, or it could be in any number of things. And so when I'm trying to do better at is those days when I'm down, is try to think about those days and those actions that I've done that have made me feel better, but really bring out, that song, The True Colors, really bringing out the true colors that if I'm able to, one way or another, to help others, I want to do that. And so that's one of the areas why I'm so passionate about Voices for Voices is we're helping people. Some of it is big, some of it's small, and even a higher percentage of that are things that I'm never going to find out. Our team's never going to find out how we were able to help people. And I'm okay with that. It's nice to get that feedback of, being able to tie a particular episode or an event or an experience of uh, helping another person, or not even us helping you, but maybe it inspires you to help others when you're given that opportunity. Uh, or even just appreciate it if somebody helps you out, like if somebody helps me out, just having that appreciation. And so with that imagination, I wouldn't have been able to do those things if I didn't have that imagination and the dreaming of wanting to not just be the ordinary, but try to be extraordinary whenever it's possible. So whether it's, the tree example, whether it's a ticket to a ball game and treating the individual like we all should be treated, as human beings. When others, once they got in the stadium, they just went their other way. They went their way and he went his way. Uh, those things are, those you can't put a price tag on those. Uh, and so maybe that gives a little more, sheds a little bit more light into why I am so passionate about Voices for Voices and wanting to do the best that I can as an individual, as an organization leader, to help as many people as I can because time on earth is so limited. And I know how those feelings are when I just kind of reminisce on those situations and events and how I felt even one of our mission trips went to Poland, uh, visited, shipped over uh, books, hygiene kits, and literally took the shirt off my back and gave to a Ukrainian refugee uh, when I was in Warsaw a couple of years back. And so there's, episodes and that's been covered extensively in the media. And for me, it was, just as, God, Jesus say, if literally, give the shirt off your back. Uh, because I realized at that moment, during that time, and even today, when people are displaced, some people have 15 minutes to pick up all their belongings, get in the car, and leave, uh, being forced out by a military or uh, other authorities. And that's another event. And then taking a family, a mother of a house that has small children and moms that had fled and just going to the grocery store and buying groceries, thinking it was going to last maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, because there was probably around 30 or so uh, individuals with the moms and the children. Uh, and so I look back at those times and yeah, there was some media coverage but when it came down to it, it was the feeling at that time to be like, okay, here's this person really, well, there were more people than just the one, but the shirt I gave off my back, uh, it had yeah, when you do things like that, I've learned that it doesn't matter about the money, it doesn't matter about, it matters about us being a human and what a fellow human would need. And again, they have 10, 15 minutes to gather their belongings. I can't even imagine what that'd be like of having 15 minutes and like what I even would, what all I would bring, right? Because we have all these, at least for me, have all these things, and we've accumulated things over the years and the days and the months, and it really just comes down to like, uh, I don't know. It just comes down to what's important to us. And so that's the big thing. So to close out this episode, children have that imagination, that spirit. They're growing, their body's growing, body parts that, they're getting taller, they're wearing bigger sizes, bigger shoes, um, other clothing, and so when there are things like, even though Christmas is about more Christ, there's a belief of, Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, Father Christmas, whatever term you like to use. And again, I'm sharing this as my example, my story. So adapt what I'm sharing to what your experiences are, and um, if you practice religion or not. We're all human beings, so it's more of, for me, it's about the symbolism of have somebody we know that we're celebrating, and we want to keep kind of the tradition alive. Santa Claus, and at a certain time, there may be a time where it's somebody at school or at a birthday party or Christmas party or a reunion where somebody says, "Oh, you believe in Santa Claus?" Like, Santa Claus isn't real. And that's where the innocence and the imagination of just letting the child and the children just imagine, keep that imagination out there. And we know the children are growing up and they're hearing things and seeing things that they some of the things shouldn't be seen or heard for many years. Um, but we can't control all of that. We can try to stop it a little bit and delay it. And so to have our children or our members of our families continue to have that belief for as long as possible is big to me. And so there was one of the big reasons wanting to do the show is So, um, sorry, just yeah, a little emotional. But right, we know the difference between a real pet, a real dog, a real cat, and a stuffed animal cat, stuffed animal dog, or other pet, other animal. And we had one of uh, one of the practices for one of the extracurricular activities that our daughter's doing, and and so we don't have a real life pet, dog, cat, and her daughter um, brought the most recent dog, stuffed animal, but with her. And one of her friends said, "Oh, is it real? Is it real? Is it real?" And our daughter said, "Yeah, he's real." And this is where, as parents, it's like, what do you do? And let's just say somebody that was not me and was not my daughter showed my daughter's friend that, oh, no, he's not real. He's a stuffed animal. And my daughter just was just crushed first because she didn't have the chance to do it. She didn't have the opportunity to do it. And I could think back in my life if and maybe there were times when my parents did that and I just got super emotional. So there was that, and then there's the emotions about that, then there was the emotions about, he is real. The stuffed animal is real. And that's why I bring up, imagination is so big and trying to figure out how and when to bring up. Like she understands a great bit, knows that he's not 100% real. That's a stuffed animal, but it's helping her play and helping her pretend. She's 6 years old. She's 6 years old. And so then that crushed her too. So it was, again, somebody not me, that was not my daughter, that got in the car and took this, took the dog, the puppy out. And so my daughter, the emotions are like, you didn't give me the chance to do it. Why didn't you give me the chance to do it? And the emotions to that, and then the secondary emotions were he is real, he is real, he is real. And I brought up the Santa Claus and Kris Kringle and Father Christmas and how Christmas has become more and more about presents and gifts than it has about, this is when Christ was sacrificed. That God sent down his only begotten Son, not to condemn the world, but to save the world. And and so I got a little bit emotional when these events happened earlier tonight because I think one, I'm just an emotional person first. And then second, it's we by not letting our daughter be the one to make the decisions. Like I said, she's six, she's not 16. Uh, to be able to show her friend that just tore her up inside. And then to say he is real, we got him at the pet store, not at the grocery store. And so I just want to say, let's let our children explore and imagine. Now, if it's something dangerous, that's one thing, but it's not. It's a puppy. It's a puppy. Nobody was in any no danger whatsoever. And obviously hindsight's always 2020 or 2015 or 2010. It's like, oh, I wish I would have did this or wish I would have did that. But I got, caught up a little bit in that, just me personally, because it just it just hurt our daughter's feelings that she wasn't able to be the one to decide how she wanted to share with her friend. And so more and more our children, family members are growing up and, like I said, hearing things and seeing things much sooner in life than even when I was growing up and my parents. And it seems like so quick things are being put in front of our children, our young ones. And so to help them manage through those are hard because these some of these things are things that happen at a much later time when I was growing up than when our daughter was growing up. And so whenever we're given the opportunity, we've heard that song, when you get the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. If we give the opportunity again, and it's not dangerous, nobody's in any danger at all, uh, everybody's safe. When our children get the chance to let their mind run wild and play and to imagine and and they're given that opportunity, let them play. Let them play. Let them imagine. Let them imagine and play because it's so hard to witness that And it wasn't done intentionally, but it occurred. So again, when our children, our young ones have the chance to sit it out or play, or sit it out and imagine, or sit it out and dream, again, safely, securely, let them play, let them imagine, let them dream. So we love each and every one of you here in the United States, across the world. We're just absolutely floored at this month of October, the biggest month, downloads, just audio. And these are analytics that we know we're not able to see all the analytics because, right, we have privacy settings on our phones and devices and private servers, and there's, you know, and we get that. So to still see the biggest single month since our show's been out, and it's almost double the next highest month, which is over 6 months ago. So if you can help us out, we can smash that, not physically smash it, the subscribe button. Uh, Hit that, press that subscribe button, follow, like, share, subscribe, all those things. It allows us to be able to have these conversations and to work through some tough topics, tough things. Um, and so, needless to say, all that has taken a little impact on my mental health for today. However, I was also able to have a regular visit with one of the members of my mental health team, and so that again, we could look at it as a bad thing. I don't. It was a good thing. I'm grateful to have that opportunity to be able to do that and to share that. The therapy is not for weak people, it's for strong people. And the therapist, if you're not jiving, if you're not connecting with them, there's so many others out there. Just keep looking around. Don't stop. Your life's worth living. I'm sure for the stories and experiences that I shared tonight or in the morning, whenever you're watching and listening to this particular episode, I'm sure you had just as many, if not more, instances where you were able to do some pretty awesome things for people. So until next time, be a voice for you or somebody in need. Let's celebrate the voice of everybody, no matter what shape, color, shape, sound that voice may take. And we are gonna see you on the next episode. So bye-bye for now.